Rightio, I'm back. I'm here. Something like that. Sorry I'm late. Good 10 minutes late. Sitting inside with the wife. I wasn't actually playing Candy Crush. That would not be very professional. And this is not very well set up. As per usual. What do we got? The live chat. Where's the pop-out chat? Are we on? We are on. Excellent. Fantastic. The system works. Pause that because we don't need that running. There we go. Get rid of Facebook, otherwise I will be checking it the entire live feed. Rightio, get in, get on, we're around. Who's in the room? Dude. Hey Darren. Welcome. It's actually a bit cold in here. So I'm gonna sort of put a heater on because it is a bit cold. I've been trying to film all day, and all that I've been doing is watching YouTube videos about 3D printing, which is probably not a good thing. Well, there was 10 people waiting for me, and now no one's here. What have I done? I'm late. I've destroyed everyone's confidence in me. Help if I turn the gas on? There we go. Is the audio working? It does appear to be working. There we go. We got heat. As long as I don't spin around and whack it. I've just started collecting cells. I'm starting my own power. Can you give me one big tip? Yes, I can. Audio is good and video too. Excellent. All my kids are asleep, so I might have some bandwidth tonight. All that I need is a way to charge my phone. That would be great. I was going to try and do a simultaneous feed on Facebook as well, but I'm not sure how I would juggle all the comments and stuff like that between the two. So what big tip do you need? Is it a tip? Is it a random tip? Is it a tip that's supposed to mean something, or? Live dashboard. We've got 13 watching. Where are you all from, guys? Are you regulars? Are you newbies? Have you got a project? Have you started a project or given up on one? Nasty Formula, sending a nice hello from Austria. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Tony the Bond. Yo, how are you, brother? I like all the emojis, Nasty. Andy Day from the UK. Fuel from all over. Oh, that is actually really warm. I should have got a jumper or something, but like I said, no planning. Well, I kind of did plan this one. I gave you half an hour notice. Bris Vegas, Peter Tyler, welcome. Whereabouts in Brisbane are you? If it was during the day, I'd invite you around. Sweden in the house. DIY Tech and Reverse. Daniel. Sweden, any regarding fines? Sweden, any big tips regarding fine new cells for example? Daniel would be the one. Daniel's in Sweden as well, I think. It snows a lot there. I think it's Swedish. Sweden. Is that right, Daniel? Finding cells, I think, is starting to get, one, either lucky or you've got to know somebody. But I've personally had a lot of luck with private schools. And in fact, private schools probably account for all of my cells these days. So, bail out, all out, all out, bail all out. That's it. Welcome, Shayla Park. not so far away. In Sweden, it can be tricky. It's all about travel around and talk to people, offer them cake in exchange. I literally, some of the best tips I got were not from computer shops and stuff like that. They were from a customer that was in a computer shop, or a friend of a friend of a friend. One of my really big leads was a customer that walked in here. He just started at a university in the IT department, and he put me in contact with somebody, and then somebody put me, and it was like 5 contacts later, I got like 200 kilos of batteries that they'd bought in that were for a whole heap of laptops, and they never used them, and they sat there for like 5 years, and I got the whole lot for next to nothing. Cake is good. My wife cooked cake today, and it was so good. It was this brownie chocolate triple choc with ice cream. It was just good. I think I'll probably get some sort of heart disease from it, but it was that good. Nasty Farmer, I'm complete newbie and learning how to make hybrid system with batteries and solar system with grid backup. Generally ask if I can help them out in some way or another. Yes, you've got to bribe them. Talk nice to them. Brandon, North Carolina, USA, originally Alaska. I would love to visit Alaska. That is definitely on my bucket list. Russell, my wife just made Christmas cake last week. Is that one of those Christmas cakes you got to put in the bottom of the fridge and just leave it there for 3 months so it all ferments and gets like 20 times better? I remember my mum, I think it was my mum that used to do it. Either my mum or a lady up the road. She used to like let them sit for 12 whole months or something. And the raisins and stuff in there were just, you'd get drunk eating one little tiny slice. Carl Brindle. Hey, this is supposed to be hard and fast Q&A. So you've got to ask questions and then I've got to answer them. And you've got to fill up the chat so fast I can't keep up. That's the whole plan. 1 hour, I'll be gone. I'll be out of here. Regardless. Because I didn't bring my Coke out. Hey Pete, Powerwall installed and working great. Fully off-grid. We'll send you some pics. Absolutely, man. Or join the forums or the Facebook group and post them up on there so everyone else can drool. There's been some awesome projects posted on the Facebook group lately. Friggin' just... Man, some people are putting so much effort into getting them looking right as well as working right. It's really good to see. Yes, and feed it with brandy. Just get a big syringe and just inject some in every 6 weeks or something. Carl, will do. Excellent. Hard and fast. How do you manage fire risk of having so many batteries? I manage the fire risk with common sense. This is in my workshop, and this is a good 20 meters away from my house. If this burns down, I simply replace it. So in here, I don't really care. I mean, it would be sad, and I probably would be pissed off, but it's not the end of the world. It's not like my entire life inside my home. And then my other battery sheds are like they're right next to my house, but they're right next to a solid brick wall that's all the way to the ceiling, and they're inside a tin shed. So I hope that's enough. Time will tell whether it is or not. Plus all the Batrium stuff, and you know, they don't overcharge, and I don't over discharge them anymore, and 130 temperature sensors in what, probably 5 cubic meters of airspace. So I like where I'm at safety wise. I've got a couple of fire extinguishers there, but I don't think they're even going to help, to be honest, if something goes wrong. So managing fire risk, common sense. Russell, you just got some laptop batteries from work. We'll be starting shortly. Start while you're watching. No time like the present. I processed some today, but I've got not very many left. I've probably got half a box left down there on the floor to process out, which is probably maybe 200 or 300 cells if I was lucky. Maybe 200 cells. I think 300 is really pushing it. Working on a 72 volt, 150 1500 watt e-bike. That's cool. I've given up on those little scooters. I had those little, what do you call it, scooters? What am I talking about? The little razor scooters. And the battery and the tires go flat so often they've driven me crazy. I've patched them and whatever else, and they still go down. That's this little battery. This one. I made a little fire starter. I made that for a little e-bikey thing, and I never used it. Similarly, I made another battery for the scooter, and it's never got past. It's never got past that stage. I'm not really an e-bike type person. I've realised I don't enjoy it. I just don't enjoy it. Is marine grade important for ocean use? I guess so. I mean, for ocean use, you'd want something that was corrosion resistant or something similar, or floats. I mean, that'd be good. Russell, so do you now run your whole house from your batteries? Also, how much solar do you have? I've always, for the last 2 years, I've run all of my house off my batteries. If you're new to the channel, you'll know that this shed is not off-grid. It is completely on-grid because this is where I work and fix computers every day, and I do not want my customers' computers on dirty power, so to speak. I don't want to have that in the equation, and I never have any customer computers here overnight of any value. So, and then inside my house, I have two out of 5 air conditioners on my batteries, and then the hot water system is not on the batteries, but it is on a solar diverter. So I only use my own solar power to actually heat my hot water. And my cooktop and my oven aren't on the batteries. So there's only a few devices within the house itself that aren't on batteries. If I can afford at some point in the near future another inverter, which I want to do an AC coupled system, that will all change where everything is off-grid. Well, everything is hybrid. It won't be off-grid, because if I disconnect the grid, the way the hybrid what do you call it, the AC coupled systems work, I lose all power, not just the battery power or the grid power. So I'm not off grid, so to speak, but you know, it's still neat. I mean, the power went off the other day here for 4 or 5 hours, and the only reason my wife knew the power went off is because the internet stopped working. She was watching free to air at the TV at the time, so the cable internet went down as well, but the cable TV went down, but she didn't notice because she wasn't watching it at the time. It was only after like 20 minutes when the internet went down, or she noticed the internet went down. So this is not very hard and fast question time. This is pretty slow and average. What's going on? If there's anybody new, where are you from? What part of the world are you from, and what projects you're working on? So the second part of your question, Russell, how much solar do you have? So I have, on this little setup here, I have 1 kilowatt of panels. I have 4 250 watt panels. On my off-grid system, I have 4.5, no. Yeah, I got 4.5. I got 4.5 kilowatt hours on my batteries, and my batteries are actually dead flat at the moment. And let's transition to the required screenshot. My batteries haven't been used all day because it's been raining for over a week. So they're looking a little bit hurt. 1.56 amps is actually the static power draw from my inverters. So that's pretty horrible. And then I have 6,000 watts of panels that is grid tied. So the grid tied just either sells to the grid, but I only sell, I think I'm lucky to sell 1 or 2 kilowatt hours per day back to the grid. Hopefully once I get the AC coupled system, it'll be nothing ever. Can you run your wash machine on the Powerwall? Yes. We run the wash machine, the dryer, the deep fryer, the microwave oven, fridge, freezers, washing machines, everything. If it's plugged into a power point within my house, it gets run on the batteries. And in fact, I think last Sunday is sort of our washing day, so to speak. We did 5 loads of washing and 5 loads of drying in one day. And it didn't take out too much out of the batteries. We do it during the day, so the solar would have been contributing, so not drawing from the batteries, so to speak, all day. But yeah, we run it hard, and like 1 load of drying uses about 2.5 kilowatt hours of energy. Washing, not so much. Washing only uses about half to 1 kilowatt, depending on what temperature you've got it running at. If it wasn't so affordable to source 1850s, what would your choice other batteries be otherwise? Okay, that's an easy one. It would be something like a Nissan Leaf battery, even though they're quite difficult to get in Australia, or obviously the Tesla packs. Or I would have done what I did 3 or 4 years ago and just used big lead acid batteries from golf carts and from shopping centre scrubbing machines, the floor scrubbing machines and devices like that, or forklifts. I've already done all that, but yeah. Tony the Blonde, would you recommend Vuzen? No, Vuzen is banned across all of my networks because they are spamming assholes. There is one thing that I do in my job is like have to deal with the question, how do I get rid of all the spam in my inbox? I hate spam with a passion. They spam the absolute out of all my networks, and they got banned from everything. Any company that thinks spam is okay and actively does it after I've told them you will get banned if you don't stop spamming this forum, they still kept going. No, I'm sorry, I won't be having any of that company. That, and then there's a heap of reports come through about people buying like 10 boxes of it being crap and broken, and I have a box of them here that is crap and broken, and they didn't even refund. They were horrible. The service was horrible. Now that was version 1. I don't know about version 2, but I don't care. I will stand behind that for the rest of the time. I don't care what their product is or what it's like. As far as I'm concerned, their service and their business ethics suck, and that's enough for me not to even want to have anything to do with them. Hence, when I saw them being used on Linus Tech Tips the other day, I just lost all faith. All faith in humanity. Jenny, Germany, awesome. Tony, not for any but capable where you have movement. Talking about movement, let's read the box. Let's read the box on false advertising and bullshit. Oh. Now this box went from probably the middle of India somewhere to the UK, and then UK to me. Let me read here if I can actually focus my eyeballs. Specifically designed for e-bikes, hybrid vehicles and military e-vehicles. It can also be used to make battery banks for other energy storage applications. I'm sorry, if that went in any military vehicle, it'd probably have to be run by Trump. Their quality of that shit is just shit. Who would put shit like that on a box to try and sell it? It's not good for military. Even on an e-bike, the things bloody rattle apart and half the cells don't work. Rightio, that's enough on my rant about that. I think DIY Tech and Repairs is anything larger there. Okay, DIY, thanks, good idea, but in the real world, it has issues, of course. Yeah, they have big issues. What else have we got? Phil from Adelaide, looking to get some battery systems. Sick of $1,500 quarterly power bills. Yes. But you have to look on your return on investment, dude. Have you already got solar? I mean, that's a good place to start. Get rid of a $1,500 power bill. Unless you're in a rental. And that makes it very hard. But I used to have before I started doing all this, my power bill was like $1,800 a quarter. And then I got solar, and then it come down quite considerably. But I think a lot of the savings come from me actually thinking about it rather than not caring and just whinging about a bill. And I got really proactive about turning stuff off and changing light bulbs, and I even sold all the old televisions and got all new TVs. Yeah, so my power bill come down from that, and then it come down to like $800 with solar, or something like that. Don't quote me; it's somewhere in that. And then now with batteries, it's come down to about $300. But it depends. If I start mining, it jumps up to $1,000, $1,500 again. So it's not much fun when you see those big bills. Russell, cheers for that. I'm starting. This is slow 2 to 300 watt of solar panels. That's all I started with. The guys that actually did my commercial solar system, my grid-tied system, gave me one broken solar panel, and that got me all started on everything. And it went downhill from there, according to my wife. Buenos dias. Welcome. I'll just call you Joe's. I can't read anything more Spanish than that. Sorry, man. With all your knowledge, and we're just starting out, what would you do or advice to give? Advice to give: enjoy the ride. Don't take my word for it. Don't take any other big YouTuber's name for it. Have a look around. Look at lots and lots of YouTube projects so you can get a good cross-section of what works and what doesn't work. I.e., if you copied me doing the 80 cell pack, that's now not the norm. The norm is like 300 cell packs. So I'd definitely do that differently if I could, do it over. But get many opinions, and before you start, have a look at your insurance policy, and don't do what I did. It took 5.5 months for them to agree that it was covered. And I bet you that if I ever have a problem, I'm probably still going to have a problem, even though, So that's kind of my advice. Big cells, it makes it cheap to BMS. They tend to stay a lot better balanced when they're bigger. Yeah. I think that covers that. So what size inverter? I got the PIP 4024. I've got two 4048s, so two 4,000 watt units, and they're in parallel. Joe's, again, I can't read Spanish, sorry brother, and I don't think I've got enough time to translate it. Hey from the UK, first attempt at a 7S 10P for testing. That's a good, actually, that's another good thing. Backing up to Russell's question, start with something small. Work out how things work and the electricity side of things, and get safety down pat and how you do things and methods. Even something like that in a little e-bike. I mean, that's 7S. Technically speaking, I shouldn't be holding it, but I know damn well that it doesn't do much at all. So, except for the little dag that's just stabbed me in the finger. First 7 eyeballs on faceballs. Where is that from? Faceballs is from Mighty Car Mods. I think they did the whole eyeballs on faceballs thing. Are your inverters parallel? Yes, they certainly are. They've got like the little there's a little kit that joins them two together so they work in unison or tandem, whatever the word is. They work together as a team. Funnily enough, they were like, the inverter was like $800, I think, delivered, and then it cost another $100 each for the parallel kit. I only bought one parallel kit, thinking that there was a parallel, like one parallel kit was two, but it was only one, so I just spent $200. That was a surprise I wasn't ready for. Solar gardening and stuff. Just thought I would say hello whilst you're on. Good morning, sir. Have been a bit slack with videos. We'll do some updates soon. I enjoy watching your videos, and Joe and a few others. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much for just stopping in, sir. Don't forget DIY Tech and Repairs Daniel's videos. It's called DIY for a reason. Abso-bloody-lutely. Always read up and look on what's legal where you live and how to accomplish what is needed for your goal. Absolutely, and look at what your needs are. If you've only got to run a light bulb like that, to give you an idea, there is a light there with 2 tubes in it, been running off that inverter, and I've been doing tests and stuff at that iCharger still. And that battery's still got like 54 volts in it, and the light's been on for a week solid, 24 hours a day. What's a PIP? A PIP is a model of an inverter made by MPP Solar. So PIP 4048 or PIP 20, is it 2024 or 2424? Usually the first 2 numbers are like the watts, and the second 2 are the volts. So the 40 in mine is the 4,000 watts, and the 48 is the 48 volts. Usually. Mighty Car Mods, yeah. Mighty Car Mods is awesome. They are just awesome. I went to buy one of their cars, but it fell through, and I was very disappointed. I had the opportunity. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I think I can, because I really did try hard to buy one of their cars a long time ago. I tried really hard to buy one of their cars. I was all but ready. I had everything to drive down to Sydney to pick it up, and I had money in hand, and then it fell through, and then I was very, very upset, because it would have been awesome for my channel. It would have been fantastic. What is 7S, and what is the most popular, and what is it used for? Does it matter? Yeah, it matters. 7S is like the... Oh, don't worry, just read Daniel underneath. He's already got it. He's beating me to it. 24 volt system, depending on the gear you live. 7S can go even 14S for 48 volt. Absolutely. Good start to read up is... S and P is... frequently asked questions. Yes, that will be from, and I can't even remember his name, and he's one of the most active members on the forum. Oh, I'm gonna have to click the link so I know. This is terrible. Core. We call him Core. Core Shan. He's absolutely friggin' brilliant with some of the stuff he does on the forum. Very, very active over there. Helps out a lot. And back to you guys again. Oh no, I lost the chat. There it is. So who else is in the room? We got, what, 47 people here. Come on, chime in. This is supposed to be hard and fast, not just sit there and listen to Pete babble shit. Get after it. Ask me a question. Tell me where you're from. Let's do this. Ask me, I don't know, ask me about something. The V8 freak, always feel as if the wires are heating up. That should be a given, shouldn't it? Oh, they're at the bottom of the bin now, but those wires this morning, geez, I was pissed off with that. I can't find the comment. I actually commented saying I didn't make the cables, but I did. I thought I just put the banana plugs into the clips, but I actually put the other end on as well. So at some point I did know how thick those wires were, and I really should have friggin' known better. But hindsight's a bitch. And Korshan, thank you, Daniel. That could have been so much worse. I feel we're all bad, but it's not the end of the world. And considering I've got a FLIR camera sitting here and I've got all the gear to do it, I really have. I should have known better than to put those cables up, but I've got some suitable cables now. And actually that trolling motor battery is almost charged up. 73 amp hours have gone back into it again. Interestingly, I did 2 tests with that trolling motor battery. I did a 30 amp discharge test and got 73 amp hours out of it. And I did a 2 amp discharge test and I only got 75 amp hours out of it. I would have thought there would have been a much bigger difference between the two. But a 30 amp discharge on that poor thing, I tell you what, she generated some heat. and they were on the Facebook group. I just put the thermal camera images up just earlier. Hi from Poland, Electro TME, welcome. Another one from Poland, Matthew. Where's the best place to get the Ender 3 price and warranty wise? I don't know about warranty. I got mine, of course, from Banggood as a sponsored unit, so I didn't pay for it. But but as a result, I'm on to my fourth. So I've gone through 3 kilos of filament, and it's still going. And I'm genuinely happy with it so far. And I've absolutely just smashed it. There's so much stuff got printed for my kids, and my kids are building blooming entire farms out of 3D printed farm animals. They're loving it, absolutely loving it. As for warranty, I don't know. Nothing I get from Banggood is ever warranted, so if I break it, it just goes in the bin. Talking about breaking something, I broke my clamp meter the other day, and I'm not very happy with it. That lasted 9 months, and that was a sponsored unit as well. But I did drop it from a scooter, so perhaps that was my fault. Maybe that was another thing like the wires this morning. But I mean, if you want to get it from Banggood, hit me up. I'll give you a link, or have a look at my other videos. They got sponsored links in there, and then that way they know that I've had clicks and stuff, and that looks good for my getting more stuff from them. You don't have to actually buy it; just clicking the link helps. Planning on installing an MPI 10K inverter with 20 kilowatt hours, South Brisbane. Any opinion? Yes, Chris Corbin. They are not on any approved list. I think the MPI is a hybrid, so they are not approved anywhere to connect to the grid. I would be getting some pretty serious professional advice if you haven't bought that inverter yet. There are probably better ones to buy, if I should be honest. If you're going to spend that much on a 10K inverter, 10,000 watt inverter, there are better inverters to get for that sort of money that are on the approved list. And if you message me, go admin@DIYPowerwalls.com, and I'll send you the model over that some of us are thinking about getting the AC coupled system. But hi from Tassie, and you don't have two heads. Peter Turner, hi Pete, welcome back, sir. John, greetings from the UK. Bale, do you have a boat? No, I do not have a boat. My brother has a small boat. I do not. I'm not a swimmer. How do you reckon this tan would go in the sun for anything more than like 6.5 minutes? I would turn this shade of pink that was attractive enough to live in a flower shop. No. Boats and me, no. Boats in the sun, no. Me in the sun, no. Alrighty, moving on. Is the battery hasher project still going? No, but I love the shirts. I only sold 3 and I bought 2, and Average Joe bought 1. But the battery hasher converter thing there runs a lot of this stuff now, so it's living a new life. I don't have any rigs running at the moment. I've turned them all off, and I gave video cards to family members and my kids. So battery hasher program is not still going. It's just crazy. 1 video card on my Powerwall would be fine, and I got what, 38 kilowatt hours of tested Powerwall. 1 card would be okay. Anything more than that is just useless. It just draws down too much power. What, 7.5 kilowatt hours per day? It's just too much. I just can't put it back in. I'd need another probably 5 to 10 kilowatt hours of solar panels. So it was a good idea. It didn't work in theory too well, or in practice, I guess you'd say. Gouke, I'm just going to call you Mose because that's heaps easier. Hi from the Netherlands, welcome. Joel from the Philippines, welcome. Chris Corbin, yes, is not approved in Australia, I can guarantee you. Fernando, what's up, Pete? I got my solar working again with the SBMS120. That's great. Oh, that's the one that was on the Kickstarter, is that right? The one with the built-in BMS and everything? I really need something better than this MPT7210A. That's a piece of junk. I can get 2.5 amps charging out of it, and I got 1 kilowatt of panels on it. So that's 20 amps out of the panels at 32.5 volts or something. So it should be at least getting 5 amps charging those batteries with that many panels on it. I don't expect much more than that because of the conversion, but yeah. I'll work on approval first. Good advice. Yes, yes. I mean, approval is really important if you want to do it right. And if you haven't bought the gear, it's best to turn around and go, right, if I'm going to do this, there are ways of doing it properly and getting it all approved and everything done. So if I would do it again, I would go down that route rather than getting 2 MPP solar inverters. Not that I dislike the inverters rock for the price. And I give them a hard time. I pulled 7,000 watts out of them yesterday when we were mucking around in the kitchen and we had the microwave, the deep fryer, the toaster, the kettle, and like the rest of the house load on. I think the dryer, the washing machine, and it peaked at 7,000 watts, and it just kept going. And the lights dulled a little bit, as you'd expect, but it still does good. Idle hungry for sure. Well, there you go. That just answers that question. Well, the 2 inverters do use a lot more power. Scummy in Oz, I want to move to Tassie. I do too, but I hate the cold. Can I say hi to Jasmine for me, please? Who's Jasmine? That is a sexy name. If I ever had another girl, I'd call her Jasmine. That's an unbelievable name. I love it. Rightio. I so want to move. Can you say hi? Hi, Jasmine. Looking into making a 7S setup for my small catamaran I am rebuilding. I want to charge by solar and wind, thinking about 120 of size, and to install in an IP67 casing. IP67 casing is a great idea. If I was building these cells into a vehicle or anything that moved or anything that wasn't sitting on a wall like that, I would probably recommend new cells, not new cells. New cells, not used cells. And I wouldn't fuse them. I know that sounds completely counterintuitive, but those little tiny wires in a vibrating situation is a huge point of failure. Also, I would make sure those suckers are tied down really, really well. I think you got a good idea with the IP67 casing because I believe that's waterproof and fireproof from memory. But you could definitely do something. Absolutely. It might be cheaper just to buy a couple of nice big lead acids though, and a lot easier to maintain on a boat. What is your opinion on good electronics to do a power bank from 18650 cells, fast charging from a charger with balanced 5 volt 2 amp output, maybe some quick charge? I haven't really done anything like that, man. My extent of charging, is a wireless charger for my iPhone. But I haven't really done anything with the smaller stuff and just, like a battery charger or anything. I did think about doing something when Pokemon was a thing as a video, but I never really did anything. Sorry, dude. Maybe just get a couple of those cheap 2 amp ones from eBay and then a decent charger like this thing that can charge at 30 amps and just crank it up. I guess it could be done easily enough, but I haven't personally done it. Mose, question. Why are DIY Powerwalls fully fused for each cell, but the battery packs for e-bikes never are? That's an easy question to answer. E-bikes are usually all new cells. And I think I answered that before with the boats. They're moving around, they're rattling, you need the mechanical strength of something so it doesn't move around, and there's no mechanical strength with fuses, but yet there is with spot welding. So it gives it a strength and it gives it a rigidity that you really need for safety and security. Plus, I guess, as a whole, most of the time the bikes are outside. But you see lots of bikes go up in flames, you really do. But you don't know if they're the LifePo packs, the which cells they contain. So I think that answers that question. With Batrim, is it important each pack Longmon has the same amp hours, or can I have one pack with 100 to the other? You're better off having it as similar as possible. You wouldn't go that far away because you'd never get the thing balanced. It would be that 200 milliamp hour pack of cells would just die in unless you mean 2000 and you forgot a zero. You really still want to have them as balanced as possible. Otherwise, you've got my problem. When the pack gets low, you can really see some big dips and peaks. And then your inverter drops out because of low voltage, and yeah. Yes, it is, man. 2000. Okay, yeah. So that answers that question. It's a great charger. Where have we got? At DIY Tech and Repairs. My goose is because DIY Powerwall is lots of different old cells. Don't know what that. My guess is because DIY, yes, lots of different cells. Oh, that's for the e-bike thing. Yep. Daniel's replying. My girlfriend. That's my girlfriend. She's laughing. Tassie is awesome. You have to come here. I would love to come there. I've got a bunch of people down there. I've even got somewhere to stay down in Tassie. But if I went down there, I'd need to sort of tie it in with trying to do a video, or, I'd have to. It'd be a very quick sort of 2-day drive around sort of thing, I reckon. Close to the airport as possible. Yes, Fernando, I can consider my meter packs IP rated because they're very insulated and silicon sheets fireproof in case if a battery blows. Yeah, yours are bloody massive. They're like 2 meters long or something, aren't they now? 12 volt. The only thing I can get inside it is power. You should never store lithium polymer cells fully charged at 3.8 volts. Lithium ion. There's a lot of people that have actually charged them at 4.2 volts, and I think Jehu even did a video quite a while back where he had a couple of cells sitting on the shelf, aren't all of his cells sitting on the shelf, for 2 years fully charged, and he did a couple of tests on them and they had the same capacity that he wrote on them, so I'm not sure. I guess it depends on heat and cold a lot as well. That would definitely come into it where they store. I mean, in summertime in here, this shed can get 40, 45 degrees easily without any trouble. So I don't know if these cells in here are going to go too well. Time will tell. Okay, how is it that I've caught up with the chat? Where is everybody? Fast and furious. Let's go, guys. What's going on? Let's go back over the live dashboard. We've got 45 people in the room. That is awesome. We had 53. Wow. That is neat. Anybody new here? Where are you from? I'm trying to look at how long I've been on. 43 minutes. Okay, I've got about 15 minutes left before I'm going to run inside and probably have another game of Candy Crush. It's odd that I like Candy Crush. I think it's odd that I like Candy Crush. It's one of those brain-dead games you can just play. Snacks. Now let's talk about the snacks and why there is no snacks. My wife didn't buy any because apparently I didn't give her enough money for groceries. She had enough money for her own hedgehog slice or whatever she made herself, and iced coffee, and fingernail polish, and rosemary flavoured bloody hair dye, I don't know, but not enough for snacks apparently. What is the go with that? JV's in the house. Welcome, brother. How are you, my friend? You've been cranking out the videos lately. Unfortunately, I haven't watched a great deal of them yet. Hello from Indonesia. I'm not even going to pronounce your name because I'll probably get it wrong. Puerto Rico, Javier. Yes, if you haven't already gone and subbed Javier, he's got some good content over there happening with some very different things. Spot welders and DIY power packs and stuff like that. V8 Freak, need to go build a small 2S or 3S pack for my separate FPV motor. What's FPV? FPV? Flying, I don't know. What's FPV? Monitor. Is that a drone? FPV? I'm not sure. That'll be what? 8 to 12 volts? Somewhere around that? Mr. Jimmy, what watts are the individual solar panels in your big array? Hashtag give Peter snacks. Yes, let's start a movement. First person view. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. Thanks, Daniel. You know everything in the world. Where was I? Snacks. Snacks got me completely sidetracked. Individual solar panels. So on my main one, my 6,000 watt one, is 250 watt panels. There's 24 of them. On the shed roof above my head, there is 15 195 watt panels. On the house with the 1.5-ish kilowatt hours, there's 8 190 kilowatt hour panel, no, 190 watt panels. And then on this little charger up above my head, there is 4 250 watt panels. And I look like an idiot doing that, so I won't do that again, or at least I'll try not to. First person for drone views. There's some dude in the paddock across the road. There's like a paddock across there. Actually, there's paddocks all along there. And he was racing a little drone. It was probably this big, and he was practicing racing. And he had like 4 flags in the ground, and he was just ripping around them. Now, damn, it just sounded like a whippersnipper on speed or something, the way it was going around. And damn, could he handle that thing. He just had that little goggly FPV things, obviously, the goggle things on, and just was ripping around. And every like 4 minutes he had to bring the damn thing back in to put a new battery in it. It's pretty neat to watch. He had some good skills. Jadia, good my friend, getting ready to build a 3 kilowatt hour Powerwall for my father-in-law. Awesome, 3 kilowatt hour will go a long way. It's funny that 3 kilowatt hours will go a long way in other countries where I've got 30 kilowatt hours and I go, geez, I wish I had 60. There's never enough. There is never enough power. But then again, I don't care how I use the power either. We are, inside the house, we are not energy savvy. We just use it because it's there. And as a result, we do use about, I think I worked it out, about 30 kilowatt hours a day from the solar and from the batteries. Added to time, if voltage on a new Sanya cell lithium-ion drops down to about 1.6 volt deep discharge after long storage, is it possible to rescue this cell in minimal capacity? Voltage has nothing to do with capacity. Cycles and quality have something to do with capacity, and maybe heat as well, heat or cold or temperature. But voltage is not. You can have a 0.01 volt cell and it'll come back to 3,200 milliamp hours. I guess that's a misconception by a lot of people. They think a 1 volt cell is useless. And in fact, if you go back in the day, my cell 5 here, the red one, I built because there is a certain person that was in our community but is no longer in our community because he's disappeared off the face of the earth, built a electric car and only tested his cells by going, okay, it's got a good voltage when he pulled it out of the pack. He charged it up and it didn't get hot and it didn't self-discharge. And he called that a good cell. And that cell was built probably a year ago or more. And that is a horrible cell. I tested it the other day, and I've got footage somewhere, and it's only 90 amp hours, whereas the one beside it has 170 amp hours because it was built properly. So I charged them all up. I chucked anything out that was 1 volt. Well, I didn't technically chuck it out. I just didn't use it. It was only if they had good voltage, didn't overheat during charging and discharging, and didn't discharge over a week. And it's just horrible. So don't go on voltage, please. Go on capacity. Test them properly. DIY Tech and Repairs currently downloading your Raspberry Pi. Doesn't support some... Oh, that's okay. Ask the drone guy to bring your fast snacks. I've literally been here doing a live feed back in the day and had a customer knock on my front door, brought me snacks. That was very cool. A little weird, but cool. I don't do it anymore. No more snacks. Don't bring snacks. This 90 kilo frame can't do too many more snacks anyway. V8 Freak, yeah, some drones go stupid fast and have a look of a... This thing was ugly. This thing wasn't like your nice, drone that sort of flies up and spins around and then lands again. This thing was just on speed. It had the propellers were only like this big. It was just fast. Mr. HD, I'm just going to call you Ray. There we go. Hey man, enjoy your content. In the process of building a portable power bank, 240 volt UK. Should have around 100 watt hours when it's done using lithium pouch cells. Are they recycled lithium pouch cells? Because that gets you extra kudos. Cell phone batteries? That's a good question. Has anybody actually done something with cell phone batteries? I'm pretty sure they have somewhere along the way. I don't know. I know a couple of people wanted iPhone batteries and to build something out of that. I think that'd be really cool. I don't think it'd be... There are many crap clones of the iMacs. No, I have a genuine iMacs. I'm using 30 amp hour pouch cells. Oh, they must be some decent sized pouch cells. Wow. 1,000 watt hours. Watt hour. You'll get it eventually. Just keep trying, brother. What's the best and cheapest way to discharge 8650s? I'm getting some laptop batteries soon. That depends on how you want to do it. I like the Opus units, the 3100s. I love them. I've always used them. The cheapest way would be the Lakaya Toda. If you go onto the forum, there's a banner up the top for some cheap ones. The cheapest ones I've ever found. I think they're like $30 each or something US. They're really cheap. They only discharge at 500 milliamps rather than 1,000, I believe. But that is cheap, and you don't have to buy heaps. I mean, I've done a long time with only one iMacs, one Opus. Now I have two. But yeah, you just keep rolling along. You just keep feeding it cells. You get 20 or 30 cells done a day, depending on how many times you walk out here. So you don't need to spend a lot of money if you've got a little bit of extra time, or you've got a low supply, so you just keep churning them through. I would try, actually, for testing, I bought 4 SDM, 2 more needed later. If anybody needs anything, please hit me up for an affiliate link. I would really appreciate it coming up to Christmas. Yeah, man, I've been in the drone area for a while. Those things eat power. Yeah, I'd actually love to get a drone, but there's so many regulations about flying them in our area. Sorry if someone already asked, can you give me 2 sentences about your shirt? Battery hasher. I went through a stage where it was really cool for me to try and mine cryptocurrency from solar. So I used a 48 volt to 12 volt converter, and then run the computer through a little Pico. There we go, little Pico thing. So I run a mining rig through that And it worked fine. It worked perfectly well, and it worked for 4 months solid. And now this has been up here for about 2 months, running 24 hours a day. So it's actually a good little unit, $180 or something on eBay. So yeah, just mining from solar rather than from the grid. And Battery Hasher, I thought that was a cool name, so I registered and did all the stuff you do with that, and made a shirt and sold 3. 2 to me, 1 to somebody else. That was more than 2 sentences, but tells a story. I think Jehu did one with cell phone batteries for Puerto Rico floods. Yes, but did anybody actually use it? That is the next question. Hurricane. Yeah, there we go. I'd be interesting to see if that still works and all the rest. It's one thing to build something, but it's another thing to test it and use it and actually put it into, what do you call it? Daily use, daily cycles. Actually use it. How do you steal? Sorry. Butter? What do you mean by that, man? Spell that somebody can say. Spell that somebody say please. What are you talking about, dude? Windroid. Hello. Welcome. Where are we up to? Ray, I recently got Turnigy Reactor 300 watt charger. That goes all right. They do go really well, those chargers. I just watched your video of the melted wires. It was lucky. I might get one of those X6 chargers. You have thoughts? I love them. There is an affiliate link below if you want to use it. They're absolutely friggin' awesome. I have, because with some of the sponsored stuff that I've got lately, the products for review, man, I've been handed a really, really dud card. I have shit that's blown up, shit that's broken. I've got an iCharger from Banggood to review. iCharger 1010B. I loved it, and then it blew up. So they sent me this one as a replacement. iCharger X6. And then I loved it so much I got a second one. But that thing's running, that's actually charging at the moment. But I've run that for a month solid, really trying to make sure that if I'm going to do a review on something, the friggin' thing does what it says on the box. So I've done up to 30 charge and discharge at 30 amps. I've tested a heap of my packs. I've tested, I think, 6 now. Backwards and forwards, up and down, over and over and over again. And it just works. I've got a video. I have done the video for it. I need to tweak it a little bit, but I don't want to release that video until I'm really, really happy with the unit itself. But if you ask me right now, would I buy one? I've bought one for myself, and then I got one sponsored unit. So I love them, and they charge. What, they did a discharge. What was this? Is this charging or discharge? This charging. So it's charged a 75 amp hour pack in 4 hours, and I can discharge it in 3.5 hours or something. That's just awesome. I can test it. I can test the 80 amp hour pack in 4 hours, under 4 hours. So you can build your entire pack and then test the entire friggin' thing before you put it into service, right on it. And if something happens down the road, you can test it again and then find out exactly if there's a lot of degradation or there's a problem with a cell. You can use it as I think, as a pretty solid troubleshooting guide. I buy them direct at B&G eTech. So if you or DIY Rep have affiliate links, I need them next month. Daniel might be. I don't even know what that is, dude. But I definitely don't have one. But if Daniel has a DIY Tech and Repairs, he can do whatever he likes on my network. So he can give you an affiliate link for that as well. Because I need to support Daniel as well, because he helps me out a lot. The portable cell phone build from Jehu was not used. Oh, that's disappointing. Can it still be used, or could it be repurposed in another way? It was difficult to build at first, and then there was no batteries around to build it. Oh, okay, so that explains that. I have one of them here that was built by a college in the USA. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's always good to know where these things go. Oh, how do you spell the discharger's name? So write it in the chat. Okay, so the discharger. Give me a second. I'll have a look. I got to sort of start wrapping this up. Power to spare. I used to have a link to all this stuff. I had a spreadsheet, and I don't know where it's gone. Copy link address. So that's the Opus one, buddy. That's the more expensive one, but I like it, and that's just me. But there is another one, which is called Ender 3D. And I'm literally just hitting refresh on my own forum to try and find the ad that I want. Are you kidding me? Now I'm getting like the same one over and over again. I'm going to have to go the back way around. It's not working. Oh, Mike's put some more up there by the look of it. MPP, DIY Tech and Repairs come up. Average Joe t-shirt. Print up. There we go. Copy link address. There we go. Completely ignored you the whole chat room for a few minutes. There you go. That's the second one. That's the cheaper one. One of the building encourage discharges names. Nice. Look forward to it. Nice. We'll look forward to that. There we go. Okay. Second Life storage. We end up using 36-volt version using an UPS. Cool. I think I look at the news lately, Javier, and what happened in Puerto Rico is just freaking horrible. But you look around at the news, and it's just earthquakes and tsunamis and hurricanes and the entire town's wiped out. And it's like, I mean, I'm not in a position to, like, I'm too far away to help, and I can't, like, just the funds aren't there to go and help or do anything. I run a business. As soon as I leave my business, my family runs out of money because, you know, we live day to day like everybody else on the planet. But I'm looking at some of that stuff and just shaking my head and how people actually get through that sort of stuff and that sort of devastation. And then the people that actually can help and do help. And things like these projects, you over there, and even Jehu with all his help with all these batteries and all the stuff he sent over to Puerto Rico, I just think that's freaking awesome. Yeah. Sorry. I you know, sometimes you wish you could do more, but, you know, geographically speaking, we're in a pretty good place in the world. Anyway, moving forward. Mike, any idea of college that built it? I'm sure it wasn't mine. Even engineers don't know what broken electronics and batteries. Okay. I can read shows who sent it. Oh, there you go. Mike, it would be nice to make friends with my major. There was a share interest. Oh, that's regarding the other battery that got sent over. Cool. The first link is not available. What? In AliExpress, that one, the first link works, unless it's a geographical issue. I'm not altogether sure. Oh, I keep clicking off. Anyway, guys, I think I've been here for about an hour, so I'm going to start wrapping this up. Let's hop on Skype. And I can explain it better. I was blessed with the info I found on the internet. The internet is a beautiful freaking place. No, it's the second one. What's the second one? The second one was the Kayatota. No one's working as well. Oh, currently unavailable. Oh, okay. But you can search the name from there anyway. It doesn't matter. You can still search the name. My throat's drying. I really should have brought Coke out. Jay helped with the initial shout out and first installations, then he had to go back. Yeah, well, you know, I think what the brilliant part of what Jehu did was got some exposure, which, you know, with his channel and his viewership. I mean, that's really important sometimes too, just getting it out there, getting it started, and full respect for that, for sure. Daniel, thank you very much for tuning in and all that you do, my friend. It is much appreciated. Hello from Wolverhampton, England. Welcome, Stuart. I found Atomic Info and your channel was the one that tied it all together. Your forum is pretty and useful. It's not my forum, it's a community forum. I would never have started it if you guys didn't hassle me about starting a Facebook group that nobody wanted to actually go on a Facebook. That's the only reason I started it, because everyone gave me hell. I'm not going on Facebook. So yeah, it's a community forum. So all you guys give me suggestions, and then Mike has done an awful lot for the forum. And then there's Daniel from DIY Tech and Repairs and Korshan that are moderators on the forum that do an immense amount. Like, I'm talking 1,000 times more, like moderation work and stuff than I do on my own forum. I simply don't understand a lot of the stuff that people are saying on there. Some of the stuff that is just above my head, I don't even know if they could be lying. I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue. So it's not just me, it's all that I am as a vessel to get it out there. I am very appreciative of the community coming together and joining all these Facebook groups. And there's so many Facebook groups out there now with the DIY Powerwalls. You know, I might have you know, typed it in first and built the first group, but everybody's taking it so much further and making it geographical and relevant to different areas, and I think that's fantastic, and I think there's plenty of room in the community for that. But if anybody wants any modifications or upgrades or has some suggestions for the forum, please feel free to hit me up, and I'll take everything on board, and anything that we can do and implement, it would be a good thing. There are some big plans for the forum. We've got a few projects underway, a few more that I'd like to do, but they're just out of my reach at the moment. So I need to find somebody that can sit beside me right here and go through stuff like Mike did, and I can ask questions and feasibility, and then I can pass that over to Mike, and then Mike can tell me to bugger off. Because Mike is responsible for everything back end on the forum, absolutely everything. I was responsible for the last forum that looked really horrible and didn't work very well, and it was slow and it kept running out of bandwidth. Mike is responsible for it working with 99.9% uptime. Javier, I help a lot of people from all over the world. I think I help a lot of people from all over the world, but I don't do it with these. I do it with what I've shared, or what, you know, yeah. So I just don't feel like I've helped. I might have helped somebody inadvertently or in a third-party way, but I've never laid my hands on and done something to help. My back probably couldn't pick up anything or do stuff, but meh. Stephen, hello from Ontario, Canada. Always catch the tail end because of the time difference. Yes, I do a lot of YouTube live feeds at this time of day because my kids aren't on the bloody internet, and my wife, and it's quiet. You know, there's no cars ripping past on the main road behind me, so it works for me. I probably should do one tomorrow. I think Monday morning here is a really good time for the guys in the States. Maybe I should try and do one then, because it gets the flip side, I guess. Can tell him how many volts is fully discharged for capacity test? About 3 volts. Oh, lithium polymer. I don't know with the polymer, sorry. I must be honest though, some of the cell color thingies are broken. It says green, but it has a blue highlight. Mike went to a lot of trouble trying to get all the colors right. But again, all of that is Mike. Mike has done the whole cell database. I can't even edit something in the cell database. It all has to be done by Mike. So he's entered a couple of hundred extra cells and fixed up all the colors and fixes links all the time. But if you find an error, each cell has a little forum-y thing, a page. Write the error, let us know about the error, because then we can fix it up and make it better for the community. LiPo settings are not the best for lithium batteries. Lithium polymer cells are considered discharged at 3 volts, whereas lithium is. I couldn't even comment on that. You and I are in a position of constant help. People come to us for tips and advice. Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes lithium ion are fully discharged at 3.1, LiPos at 3.2. Then back at you. I didn't know each other, but I had issue. Then I had issues building packs with my spot welder, and you answered my message. That's one thing I try and do. I always try and reply to every message. I try. It's hard. I mean, I woke up about 3 weeks ago. I woke up with about 200 YouTube messages and about 40 friend requests and dozens and dozens of dozens and dozens of private messages. And it sometimes takes me 2 or 3 hours every single morning just to go through that. But I try and do it every single morning. That's the first thing that I do when I get to this computer, is trying to reply to messages. Unless it's just stupid. And then there was that one time where I realized that Facebook had a friends a comment or a question request bit, and I had questions from 2016 or something. Thanks for, dude, Lee, thank you very much. That is awesome, dude. However, humble, thank you for your donation. I often don't know what to say in these sorts of situations, but thank you. I'll put it, actually, you know what I'll do with that? I'll put it towards the Community Spot Welder Fund. That will go to a bloody good place, and I've almost got enough money. I should be able to buy one, a Community Spot Welder, sometime in the next 30 days. That is almost up to where I need it to be to buy that, just from the community's help, from community using my Spot Welder Fund. I needed help building packs, and I was having a problem with this suckos. Yeah, the 7. What did I have? The 788. Oh god, that was horrible. I felt good giving it away, but I made sure I let the guy know that it didn't work too well. But he's got it to work okay, I believe. I just watched your first clips from 2015 when you started, probably where I'm at now. Oh, wasn't that a long time ago? I still go back and watch that very first video in my little playlist for the 18650 DIY Powerwalls project, or whatever I call it. And it's one video that makes me realize how far I've come and what I have actually learned. You get a bit complacent sometimes, but it's pretty friggin' cool. Yeah. Who would have thought that this would have actually worked? Lee, again, thanks, man. Welcome to the chat. I've submitted cell pictures here and there, but never thought about reporting errors. Always report errors. It doesn't matter where you are or what you do, report the errors. If it's something somebody is saying you know is wrong, please report it. If it's on the forum, hit me up, admin@DIYPowerwalls.com. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, every morning I'm out at this computer. That's the first thing I check, is that email account. So let me know, and I can pass it on to Mike or do whatever we need to do to make that work. I trash the site. Actually don't use it anymore. I build my packs using my kit. That 709 AD is a freaking beast. I have soldered so much stuff with that. I can't place his name, but he's done a heap of packs. He borrows it off Rowan. I've literally had it here for like 3 months. Rowan will need it back at some point. I'll have to take it back. I'm trying to rip out a few more packs before he gets it back though. But I've been through, I think, 2 or 3 sets of tips on it. And it just keeps going. And it's the best, I have to say it's the best spot welder I've ever used. It's only the second one, but it's the best. I'm going to get one of those other ones, the ones from the UK, and yeah, anyways. I'm going to get the Arduino ones. That's what I'm going to get. Chris, thanks to you and all who share info. Yes, the information sharing is freaking awesome. Andy Meggs, all the packs built behind, are they for your wall or do you sell them to others? No, I don't sell any. I have never sold a built pack. To give you a walk around, I don't know if you can see all these packs here. If I could get out of the way of the camera. They are all my new packs. If you looked at my last video, they are these ones. Oh, so they're spot welded up and they've just got a single fuse from here to there, from there to there. It's hard to do backwards. They actually just go straight up into place and replace my 80 cell packs. So I can upgrade. So they're all upgrades. This one here is a trolling motor I did for another video, and it's turned out to be an extremely popular video. So that one is for my brother's trolling motor, but I never actually gave him to him because I used it a lot for videos. This one here, and there's another one behind it, and there's 4 cells here, so there's 6 cells there. They've been taken out of service. They're not being used anymore because they're low quality. When I first built the pack, I cut some corners or something. And then behind here, there's another 400 or 500 cells behind here that are built for those packs as well, but they haven't got lids on them yet. So there's a couple 100 more cells sitting there. I've got to be very careful around this computer because it often locks up if I bash stuff around. That feels very weak. I'm going to put that down. So I actually have enough of these to build a 7S pack, and I have somewhere to actually put them once I get my shit together. I'm going to replace out my very first Powerwall 7S pack with those ones, and hopefully I get 14 of them down there to bring me up to 50 kilowatt hours of storage. Excuse me, I am starting to have the hiccups. Andy, I hope that answers your question. Mose, how long do your packs last? My packs last, I think I've done videos 63 hours with no solar. So I've turned the solar off and I've just used my batteries. I've got 63 hours of normal house use. I think an average would have been probably 600 watt base load over all that time. And I got, don't quote me, 35 amp hours out of the batteries. 35 kilowatt hours out of the batteries. 600 amp hours. 610, I think, amp hours out of the batteries. I'd get a lot more if I built more balanced packs, but I didn't. JVR, yours works fine because of 240. Yes, the 220 volt helps a lot. On my house, that makes it kind of useless. Korshan is here. There we go. Daniel, thank you very much for the £5. I've been saving laptop cells with single genuine iMacs. Sam, did you look at my early videos? This iMacs, which is still charging and still running every single day, I did my first, don't quote me, but it's the first several hundred cells, one at a time. Oh, that was a nightmare. I recommend you get an iMac, an Opus. Please get an Opus or something. You'll stop ripping your hair out. One cell at a time. It was just friggin' terrible. I've been solving a single genuine. Oh, that is a genuine one as well. Nice, thanks for answer, Andy. No worries. Imagine how you keep doing it. I need a few opuses, I guess. Absolutely. I did. Daniel, thanks for the $5, man. It is much appreciated. Much like Lee, I will put that towards the Community Spot Welder Fund. Sorry, I meant like, what's the durability lifespan of a pack you've made? Okay, I can answer that reasonably well. My very first pack that I put in, my 7S pack that I did, the very first 4-hour load test, if you look through my videos, it's one of the first live feeds I did, and it was 4 hours long, and I got 10 kilowatt hours. No. Did I get 10 kilowatt hours out of it? No, I got 4 kilowatt hours out of it. 5 kilowatt hours out of a 4S pack or something. Yes, 5 kilowatt hours. That very first pack was a long, long time ago, and it's still running. And I've still got, the lowest is 160 amp hours, I think, 150 amp hours. And the highest is 175 amp hours. I've tested most of the cells with the iMax, with the iCharger, and it's still going, and it still runs every single day. And actually, I can probably show you if I open that up and then click on that and then click on that. So in between 43, 44, 45, 46, 40, so whatever the first 7 from 43, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to 49, 43 to 49 are the very first, is the very first battery that I ever put into service. And that's still got fairly even all the way across the top with the balance, even though we're about 50% state of charge. Ignore that. I've been testing, well, I always test for Batrium, all the new software. So I've been testing for a good solid couple of weeks, and I haven't had the batteries haven't gone into thermal relief at all, so they haven't balanced at all for a long time. So yeah, that's 2 years of daily cycles, and they're not going all the way down to the top. And I'm sitting here moving my hand like this, thinking that you can see it. Now you can see it. They haven't gone all the way down and all the way up every day. Obviously, they haven't done a full cycle, but they've still been used every day for 2 years, and they're still cracking on really good. I do want to bring them up here and put them in here, just so I can watch them and maybe do some more tests on them. I would like that. But I guess ask me again in a couple of years. This cell here is going to be next tested with the iCharger. So I'm going to test it 2 or 3 or 4 times over and over again for capacity before I put it into service, and then I'll write it on. And I'm going to try and do that with every single cell I put into service. I'm not going to pull them all out of service to do that test. I think that'd be madness. Andy, Andy, whatever happened to Cell 5? Cell 5 is still there. It is still being used every day. It's shit, and it's only 92 amp hours. I did test that the other day. It might only be 90 amp hours of capacity, and the one beside it was 179 or something. So Cell 5 is still usable. However, it's got horrible self-discharge. It goes down by 0.06 of a volt per day, give or take. And I actually can't work out which other cell is doing it. So there must be a cell in there that's dying. But there's no heat. There's no heat at all, and no fuses are blowing, so it's not very bad. It's just sort of slowly leaking away. So Cell 5 is still being used. It is still a usable cell, especially if you're in a country that didn't have many cells and that's all you had. It's a brilliant way of making them last longer, but it's shit. It is horrible quality, absolutely horrible quality. Can the walls and the holders handle the additional weight of the new packs, or will that be the first test? No, I did 6 on the bottom, on this bottom rack, and it's only got 3 screws up the top and 2 down the bottom out of 6 screws available up the top and 6 screws available at the bottom, or screw holes, and it held up fine. It didn't bend anything. Even the bottom mounts didn't move too much. I will, when I go down into the power shed, and that's where they'll obviously go, because it's onto a very thin metal tin wall, I'm going to actually have to, on the outside of the shed, I'm going to put some battens from the cells all the way to the ground to transfer the weight directly to the ground, so it's not just pulling down on the actual shed wall. I think, excuse me. I think that'll actually weaken it quite a lot if I put that much weight onto that thin tin shed wall, because it is very thin. Those last 2 messages were meant to read as one, but the stupid character limit. Sam, which messages? Seems like it is. I can't possibly imagine how you keep doing it. Okay, yep. Now it makes sense. Thanks, dude. It made sense like 12 minutes later, but it still made sense. Absolutely amazing. Awesome. Chris S. Do you have a build video for the new packs? No. I think that is one I'm currently working on. Where is YouTube? Is it mounts Ender 3 iCharger? iCharger lost footage. That's 3D printing stuff. I did do a build, but I can't remember which video it's on. I'm doing a sort of a build video on it. It won't be completely going through everything, but it'll just be a rundown, and it'll probably be part of like another video. It won't be a build unto itself, I don't think, unless you want it, and I guess I could. Oh, huge differences. So it is still best to test each cell before building the pack. Absolutely, yes. Test every cell. For heat, for self-discharge, for internal resistance, if you have a way of doing it, and capacity. Every cell, I definitely recommend that. Ben, first time for me. What other batteries can I use other than 18650s? You can use anything that stores power, man. You could use this if you could get it running again. Wait a minute. I got to be really careful with this, because this is like 100 years old. If you want to use a 100-year-old battery, you're more than welcome to. And this is an extremely old Edison battery. Unfortunately, it is all cracked and broken. But you could use this if you wanted to. But that's even an Edison spark plug. I don't know what you do with an Edison spark plug, but it's never been used. It's still got the paper on it. Never been used. Anyway, that's interesting. But yeah, this is an Edison battery. Be very, very careful with it. I don't know actually how it works, but it seems to be paper or something inside of it. That sits down in there. That's very cool. I got that from my grandfather's deceased estate, unfortunately. It's a bad way to get something, but there you go. So you can build a battery in anything as long as it holds charge. And then I'm just going to leave that there, because I really don't want to put it back up on top unless I can move some stuff and be a little bit careful about the way I get it back up there again. The next most common, probably cell phone batteries or something. Yeah, cell phone batteries would work. 22650s are pretty rare, but for me they're also a possibility. Anything's a possibility. You've got to think outside of the box. we're talking, we're in this, I think this period of time, which is Second Life storage, which is using these batteries, after they've finished their high drain life, you use them for low drain life. And I think that's the era we're moving into. I mean, we've got so many batteries out there that could be used for, you could double their life, triple their lifespan. Andy, how do you connect a grid tie inverter to the mains house? I.e., can it go straight into a normal outlet? Well, my grid tie inverter is a commercially installed unit. I didn't do any of it. A big company did that. And well, I don't, I'm not an electrician. You'd have to ask an electrician. I guess you could use those little plug-in, I guess you call them DIY grid tie inverters. GT inverters, I think they call them. But they're quite illegal in most areas of the world. There are a few other size dimensions too. There's heaps of dimensions. Stay tuned to the forum for that. I can't say any more. That's it. What is the form factor of the new tester cells? 2170s? I think that's about right. Rubber band Powerwall. Look, it's a rubber band stores energy, so you're on the money. I mean, it might only be enough for a LED light bulb for about 1/10 of a second, but it still stores energy, right? That's right. I think they call them 2170s, though. Something like that. Yeah, the name got shortened for some reason. Which name got shortened? Oh, yeah, for that was the 2170s. It's probably for the media. Couldn't work out what the last 0 was for. Anyway, guys, I have all but caught up with the chat, and I've gone half an hour longer, which is awesome because it's been very interactive, and I've really enjoyed it again. But I might call it a night. So thank you very much for tuning in. And if you did tune in, and you enjoyed it, please feel free to smash that like button. And then I will go to bed and go to sleep because I'm absolutely wrecked. Oh, I got 1 thumbs down. What's the problem there? Rightio. Someone didn't like me talking about booze and crap. What's your opinion on 12 volt 200 amp hour for a camper trailer on 3 or 4S? I don't have an opinion on it at all. You'd need 4S. Well, depending on the chemistry that you use on the batteries. 4S would work. You'd have to be careful because it'd go all the way up to 16.5 volts or something with 4S. So that's almost too high, and then it'd be too. You wouldn't get the battery life out of it. You'd have to go lithium polymer. What's the other one? I don't know the other chemistry. Anyways, I'm not too good with that stuff, Mick Ellis. Sorry, buddy. Going to start a Powerwall now. You're too late. There's no cells left. Rubber bands have actually cool a container and created a definite difference in temperature inside. You used to actually... How do rubber bands cool an antenna? Yes, I'm still here. Bed, sleep, it's 8 a.m. Hey, Korshan, 2 p.m. here. Go to bed, Daniel. Keep up good work. Hey, Daniel. And I really have to go. I'm only an electrical apprentice, so I take my information with a grain of salt. But if you connect a grid tie inverter to a wall outlet, if I were you, I'd divide the load between multiple outlets. I just wouldn't do it, period. The grid tie inverters are not meant to go into an outlet. In my head. Lithium iron phosphate. Thank you. That'll do. 1 p.m. here in NZ. Okay, thanks. I'll ask Jay. Yeah, he's definitely got a lot more experience with batteries and stuff like that, and probably takes a lot more time to actually study the chemistries and all that. I have literally done one battery, and that's 18650 cell lithium ion, and that's all I've ever played with. Whereas Jehu does lots of projects and other sort of stuff, some very, very cool stuff. Whereas I don't. 2 p.m. is in the middle of the day. Oh, yeah. That's the other PM. You're doing to me. Oh, I'm tired. It is like 10:15 here, and I really need to go to sleep. Good night, Pete. Hope to catch the whole thing next time. Stephen, I'm sorry, buddy. Build an AC coupled system. That's where I want to go. The way the rubber bands move energy is they actually heat when they are stretched and cool when released. So the bands are. That's just, I never knew that. I'm a Sparky and I'm very impressed with your site, mate. Thank you very much, Ben. Okay, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Oh, rubber band video. I'll click on that. Oh, no, then I lost the chat. A refrigerator works by 2.9 million views. Copy. That's a lot of views. Notepad. New Notepad. WordPad.
Today on Applied Science, I'd like to show you an unusual property of rubber bands and also demonstrate a mechanism that I built that makes use of this property. So here's what you can do. You can try this at home. Just go to your office drawer and...
Okay, so now I've lost the chat. There we go. Thanks, Cole. I'll have a look at that later. 11:15 in New South Wales. It's cool, but so useless. He's never going to go to sleep. No, I have to go. No, I have to go. I've got to go out with the little rugrats tomorrow and keep them entertained. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. I shall see you next time. And I'm out of here. Start recording. Stop streaming. See ya.